We will talk about the console in just a little bit. I don't know if any of y'all have caught on to it yet, but we'll see. But you can see everything's nice and open, and everything's 100% aluminum or PVC. There's nothing up here that can rot, so it works out real good. You can see I've got this storage open here, and I do that because that way I can stuff something under it real quick. But this is actually my anchor rope storage. I can drop it right down in there. It's a little hard to tell because I've got it covered up, but there's actually another door right there, and I've got another storage locker underneath that I keep extra rope and extra stuff. I've got my trolling motor where it can be easily removed. That's a removable plate. Got it wired up here. And like I say, I wanted this boat where I had plenty of storage. There's the storage right here. It's got all my life jackets and everything in it. And actually, there's nothing else in there. There's no floor. I can access that other bilge pump is right in the bottom right here. That way, everything on this boat, I've got it where it's easy to get to, easy to fix. If there's any issues, I've had to do stuff on the water, I can get to that pump, I can switch it out, I can fix the hose, whatever I need to do. And you can see here, you can see the other little port here that pops right off. Alright, I don't know if y'all caught on to it yet, but you hear people talking about building live wells out of old truck toolboxes. Well, believe it or not, this is an old truck toolbox. I had it sitting out in the yard, and I was getting ready to build me a console for this boat, and I thought, hey, there's a truck toolbox that's the exact same width of that belly box that I got off the semi-truck. So let's see if I can build a live well. See if I can build a console out of it. I actually took a truck toolbox, door off of it. I cut the box down to what size I wanted. What I done, I mean, this is kind of interesting. If anybody's interested, maybe I'll try to do a video of exactly how I done this. Maybe I can replicate it. But I actually cut the box off, folded it. I didn't cut it all the way to. I left the bottom of the box intact, cut it down both sides, folded it 90 degrees, and then cut it again and folded it again. I'll try to give you a little better view of what I'm talking about. But as you can see, it's just a truck toolbox. I just made a couple folds and screwed it together. Still got the latch right there. I didn't even have to make a latch for it. Still had the latch built into it. But you can see, after I got done, I put storage in here. I got storage from planer boards, extra tackle boxes, coats, and just like everything else on this boat, I wanted it where I can get to stuff if I need to. So this is removable, and I can get to the parts underneath here. I've got a valve right here that I can flip. It shuts the water off to this front tank. The reason why it's important is I've actually got a T in the back, so if I want to fill my bait tank, I can flip the valve. All the water goes to the back, none of it comes to the front. It won't fill this tank up. Just like I say, it just makes it user friendly. All my power supply, all my wiring, everything's right there, easily accessed. Same way up here on top. This top just pops right up. It's hinged in the back. If I need to get to anything in there, I can just take out 2 screws, fold this up, and I can get to all the wiring. Now, you can see a little better from this side what I was talking about. I literally, this was all the way out. Just imagine it being straight. This is the part that sets on top of the bed of the of your truck bed. So all I done was I made one cut straight across the toolbox, folded this at a 90-degree angle, took the part that normally sets on top of the bed, folded it down till it touched, just like that. It was actually pretty simple. I made it in about 30 minutes. Then I just cut the door off at the size I needed and put it back on. storage. There we go. So you can see when I built these side boxes, what I done was I went ahead and put dividers in the sides. I got 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce sinkers, 2 and 3 ounce sinkers here. I keep an extra wrench just for tightening and loosening these rod holders. A pair of pliers. And over here, I've done the same thing. I make a little bit bigger sinkers. These are up to 4 ounce and 6 ounce sinkers. And right here is where I keep my knives. They're out of the way. And everything's got its own little place to be, and as long as it's there, I know where I can find it. All right, another little thing I've done. This is actually a ski rope hook that you'll see a lot of people use on these bigger boats. I use it for my drift sock. I'll throw my drift socks off the side, and what I'll do is I'll bring the rope in through the back here, bring it through, flip it over on that right there, pull it, and then throw the drift sock off. I'll put one off on each side. I use a 6-foot drift sock off both sides 99% of the time. If I ever want to use a great big one, I'll just hook it right on here. I've never had an issue with it. They won't pop off. It's always pulling against the hook. If it's good enough for a skier, it's good enough for my drift socks. And these things are that long, the bolts, so they go all the way through the bottom. They're 3/8 bolts, and they're through this solid member, so you know you ain't got to worry about it. It ain't never going anywhere. Fish bite rod holders. Now the thing, I don't know if you've noticed yet, I don't have any rod holder bases on this boat. I've got holes, about 20 of them, that I can mount these in. What I done was I drilled a hole where I wanted my rod holders. I made aluminum, might as well say bases, but I mounted them underneath the rail. And the reason why I done that is when I didn't want to use all my rod holders, I didn't like those bases sticking up in the air. So I've actually got them bolted through here. This is actually screwed into a base, but the base is actually underneath the deck. It just gives you a nice clean look. Even though there ain't much clean about this boat, it ain't been cleaned in a while. It wouldn't hurt for it to get a good bath right now. But it seems to work good, gives you a nice clean look. And like I say, I've got extra holes all the way around the boat that I can drop those into and move them from one place to the next without the bases being in the way. Again, I talked about how everything needs to be serviceable and can be serviced quick. I pop this cover out. This cover goes right here. Put your finger in it, pops that cover out. Right here is the bilge pump. Right there is my live well pump. And right here is a fuse block that's, it looks like it's open, but it's not. It's actually sealed up. I can switch either one of those pumps out just by taking out 2 screws, pop it out, drop the new pump in, plug it right back up, and we're back in business in about 10 minutes. Same way with the bilge pump. Bilge pump's actually got a quick connect underneath there. I have an extra bilge pump inside the console. I can unplug the quick connect, drop the new bilge pump in, push the plumbing in, hook it right back up, turn the switch on, and we're right back in business. The one thing that I feel is an absolute must on any boat, no matter what boat it is a battery shutoff switch. I can flip that switch. It kills all the voltage to the entire boat, including the trolling motor. And the reason why that's important, one of the biggest killers of trolling motor motherboards is charging them and having the power going directly to them, because when it charges and surges and drops and surges and drops and does the thing it does to clean your batteries, sometimes those motherboards can't handle it and you'll end up frying them. Right there's my onboard charger, and right there's my switch, and there's my batteries. Everything's where I can get to it. I can get to any of the wiring on this boat really easy. You can see everything's open air. I don't have to move anything to get to anything. Another thing I do that's kind of different, if you look, I use house plugs. That's a exterior house plug, and the reason why I like that is I've switched over all of my lights that I use for night fishing, and a lot of the accessories like my bait tank and stuff like that, I put a standard house plug on it. That way I can just plug it in. I don't have to worry about hooking up alligator clips. I plug it in. This receptacle is always hot. I have another one on the console for the exact same reason. It's inside the console. I just didn't show it to you. That way I can literally plug anything I want in the boat really quick and don't have to try to crawl around and try to get those alligator clips to hold. Another thing I'm going to show you is my rod storage system. It's a system, a design I came up with. I can literally pop my rods out or pop them right back in, and once you remove them, because I hate PVC pipe. Absolutely hate PVC pipe. When you get your rods out, you flip them down flat. You won't get your leg hung on them anymore. Like I say, I came up with this design, oh Lord, 8 or 10 years ago. Works great, because when you put the rods back in it, you'll notice how they kind of fold down. The weight of the rods actually locks them in place. Once they're locked in place, they don't bounce around, don't move around. And I got the bottom one a little bit tighter. I push it down, locks them in place. And one of the last little things I've done for this boat is I made this anchor pull, because I'm gonna tell you, it is a whole lot easier to stand back here in the boat and pull the anchor rope towards you than it is to lean over the side. It's definitely a whole lot safer. I can stand right here, and with my anchor down in the water, I'm pulling it straight back toward me, and it's just so much easier. Everybody that's ever been on this boat and pulled up 35, 40-pound anchors, you know, a dozen times, they realize that is the nicest thing of this boat, I promise you. All right, and and something I didn't mention is this top has its own power supply. I've got one single connector that comes from the batteries to the top. And then after the top, you can see I got lights on the boat. I can turn those 2 white lights on. It lights it up like daytime when I'm out here night fishing. But a lot of times I'll just turn on that red light. That keeps the mosquitoes and stuff off of you, and I'll end up turning the other lights off. Well, that's the end of our tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to get as much in as short a time as I could, but it still went a lot longer than I thought it would. But I got another video coming out that goes into a lot more detail about this top. And that way, I don't have to try to cram all the information in this, because a lot of people ask about this top. Now I'd like to show you how I done the rubber gaskets and how I made the glass, and pretty much go into a lot more detail. If you're not a sub, please sub. That way you'll push that little bell. That way you'll be notified when I pop that video up. Hopefully I'll have it up in the next week or so. Again, as always, thank you for watching my videos. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. I'll try to answer them as quick as I can. I hope y'all have a great new year, and hopefully 2021 will be a lot better year. Thank you.